All right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome. Time to start another project. This is the final project of the month of April 2025. I like to think that we will be able to see the conclusion of this before May rolls around. If not, that's okay. Delay some of the May stuff. Not in too much hurry. As with most projects, I've decided to stay consistent with a specific segment in order to record and write my thoughts coming into it and etc. as somewhat of an attempt to make a short overview, right? Motivations, living in the moment, understanding what goes into decisions and thoughts as I'm thinking about my expectations and motivations, then see what happens during the process, and then at the final we would have some sort of candid conclusion, right? So let's start off like this. All right, so these segments typically are called opening opinions. Right, opening opinions, an emphasis on opinions, commentary, things that are anecdotal, and it is not comprehensive. Oftentimes these are improvised. I ruminated on many of these ideas that I'm about to share today. Not really meant to be like some sort of really well-defined script or essay that I prepped. Something that I practice over time and using it as a routine or a habit that I get into for my own personal peace of mind and thinking. So opening opinions. So what are they like? The first stuff we'll go into is something I can gather about the developer, right? The developer and or publisher, if that is relevant. And a lot of times I tend to have indie choices, so the developer and the publisher tend to be one in the same. And maybe some commentary that I observed of the initial, since this is post-launch, right? As I'm going into this post-launch, I have some resources for initial impressions, right? I do not have any initial impressions for this prior to launch, pre-launch impressions. Sometimes in a super rare occasion, I might be part of an initial impression, like the pre-launch one. But this is post-launch, so that means I can also see the initial impressions from various groups that use this going into it. So those are kind of like observations, right? Observational facts. I like to start there largely because it's very nice to have somewhat of an understanding if it's available, that developers are transparent about certain things or sharing their vision. That type of thing motivates me to getting an understanding of the design choices and establish somewhat of a parasocial relationship with the product. Usually that forms the deepest of value to me when engaging in things. So then we go into what am I bringing into it, right? So these are, quote unquote, facts, before playing. Or before, let's just, instead of using playing, we'll use the word playing. Playing. We'll say facts before relevance. Let's say facts relevant personal facts to the project. Right? This includes in this context, as a teaser, this context would be things involved in language learning. In this case, specifically Japanese. And then other relevant facts would be prior experience with other games or other projects. Right, which I'll probably highlight as we go in a little bit more detail. And those would be wakotabi and shashinko. And then a little bit further down the line, I'll be talking about things like expectations, or I don't want to say expectations. Observational focus. So things like design elements that I'm looking for or possibly not looking for, things like how they present the information, and this is coming from relating the first top two, right? These things, and weighing them, and then looking at design elements. This involves something like, how's the vocabulary being introduced? How is reinforcement done, for example? Reinforcement. And then lastly, maybe I'll address some early hot takes, right? Personal anecdotes on hot takes, I suppose. On maybe like gaming or games as edutainment, because that's got a really saucy thing that relates to actually wakotabi, shashinko, and this game already. It draws this really passionate standpoint on games and education. And that's kind of what we're going to cover today. Hopefully in the next hour, we can hop right in. So let's go with our first one. Developer and publisher. I'm going to bring up so that I can have a point of reference. So this developer does have a website, which is a very social norm thing now, right? So a lot of social norms. Maybe I'll write a little bit of in red. So there are new social norms which I was going to talk about later. So social norms and or business norms these days often first time or first developers, like game developers and publishers alike tend to have some form of social presence, right? And that typically includes things like a social media stuff like X, face like YouTube, even Twitch, right? So in this case, they also have websites, which oftentimes it's through a service, which is incredibly serviceable, like Squarespace, right? Like Squarespace. So these things have become a social norm. These are normalized. Discord, right? A Discord, which they do have. I did not peruse the Discord yet. I do typically hop into the Discord to see what's happening. Look at if there's some sort of coding stuff. Quite a lot of indie developers now stream, like even Steam, to showcase, like have dev streams where showcase their game and whatnot and what they're doing and how they're doing it. So these things create a lot of transparency and relatability. I have not done any of these things generally before a game. I typically do it either during a game or after the game. So let's see. In this case, we're going to start with what is available on the website. And from what I gathered, right, it seems like this game is brought to us by someone named Erik Andersen. They went by a name basis for both credit to the developer and publisher. So this is self-published, Erik Andersen, and on his site there are home where it's a very streamlined. You have a Discord link, right? You have a Discord link, a demonstration of how it works, and this game is only on Steam, right? So we have an emphasis on immersion, using 2D, we're gonna say somewhat isometric or top-down. It's like top-down aesthetic. So harking to more of a retro look, and it is using immersion with context clues visually, context clues, and often that is presented more in a puzzle manner, really loosely using the word puzzle. That's what it's being presented, and it's offering, I want to say, if I remember a number, it was like 600-ish words, right? Words in which it's presented in sentences of some sort. Got quite a lot of accolades. There are 4 accolades: Axe Rising, Indie Game Showcases, Tokyo Game Show as well, for official selections and whatnot. So some accolades, 100 words, sentences, And how it works is looking like you basically farm for words or look for words, and they can be presented in kanji and or English, and you match them, right? So it's a puzzle matching thing system by interacting with an environment, a virtual environment. And this virtual environment was advertised as a more of a travel relevance. So basically a foreigner in another country, which we'll go into drawing some comparisons in a bit, because Wagotabi actually has a similar pretext for this. So other than that, we have an about section, and it's a fairly modest one, so I'll read it here. So he introduces himself. His name is Erik Andersen. Actually, I think I misspelled his last name. It's an E, not an O. So Erik Andersen, an independent game developer and creator of this would be his first game. Well, his first game under publication. So this would be the first game published as an indie. Right. And he created, so to speak, with the help of friends and family. That's kind of interesting. It's a shame I don't know in what it might be in the credits. So while he might be considered the primary developer, right, this would be a solo dev situation. Assets and stuff were the help of his friends and family, apparently. That includes music, voice acting, playtesting, proofreading, and advice. I'm kind of curious where the voice acting comes in. Largely because this is a from zero, or like a zero competence game. So I heard a little bit of the music because I had to start the game and look at it. So, and then they play test and proofread and advice. So it would be interesting to hear what the background of friends and family. It's understandable due to privacy concerns and whatnot. It would be interesting if they're credited in the game to see how big of a group it was. This is fairly classical when it comes to first-time indies involving friends and family and whatnot. He mentions that previously he worked on an educational video game in academia, so he had worked in academia, and first as a graduate student. He's also part of a higher education, right? So graduate level. Graduate level. Some of the assets, right? Assets. Friends and family. Help. And he worked on educational video games as on the graduate level. Which is not uncommon. Even games like many breakout indie game developers that have early breakouts tend to have some connection with their education in the gaming, like in making games in the process. This person actually went into academia. He was a graduate student at the University of Washington, so American, at least American in the sense of American university. Whether he is diaspora, second gen, multicultural, it's difficult to tell. There's not enough information. And he co-led during that, so not technically this is his first published game, but not technically his first game experience, right? where he co-led the team that created the fractions learning game Refraction. I'm not familiar with this game, but maybe we can go and take a peek at that in the future. I wouldn't mind diving back into mathematics in some way. And later on, he was an assistant professor at Cornell University, which is actually very neighboring, teaching video game development. So he's not only graduate level, postdoctoral, I guess, possibly either postdoctoral, academia position. And this is for game design or game development, right? They are different. I'm going to be a little loose. I don't work in video game development, so I'm going to try not to be as pedantic about these terms. And then he said at the second group, this is where the relevance of the language learning comes in. Despite taking several years of Japanese classes, so yet a very common theme about these apps, app development, gamification, your immersion ploy, websites dealing with implying comprehensible input theory and whatnot, they tend to start with this narration of formal education not meeting expectations, right, at a later age. It's not really clear when and where and how old he was when he did it, but he says despite taking several years, right, 7 years actually, very specific number, 7 years of, I'm guessing when he says classes, formal classes, so we're talking about traditional classrooms, and going on several trips. So he also had several trips to Japan. He's still pretty bad at it. Now, it's bad is a relative term oftentimes, and it's very difficult to let's do a deep cut here in red because these are my deep cuts. When I think of a possibly person who's postdoctoral and or graduate plus, and they work in academia for some time, I feel like oftentimes standards tend to be heightened when it comes to self-evaluation. And this often can come off as a potential area where imposter syndrome can happen, right? So I would take this with a grain of salt when he's, in my opinion, initially, when I think about it. Bad might be incredibly much higher. I'm not suggesting everyone's like this, but it might be a higher bar than one might think. 7 years of Japanese classes, right? And going on several trips to Japan is not an average thing. It's not average. However, maybe it's a component of language learning or something. I highly doubt that it is still pretty bad in the sense of coming from someone who is having an average threshold for intellectual discovery, right? Oftentimes when you're in academia for a very long time or sufficient time and you're surrounded by people who have a high standard of competence, a very common behavioral pattern, which I share with a lot of my best friends when we talk about things, about our own accolades, is generally everything's pretty meh. You can always do more, but oftentimes the more you learn, the more you think the more things you don't know. And that's usually what I would think about that. 7 years of Japanese classes sounds like an incredibly long dedication. for someone who is actively in academics, as well as committing to trips knowing that they have direct interaction. So probably not as bad. I'm gonna say not as bad as this person may think. Not as bad. That's the thing about imposter syndrome and like high academic standards. It takes another person to have a more relatively grounded look. The person themselves evaluating themselves can be very unreliable, can become progressively unreliable, and I'm obviously well aware of this too. Okay, so he believes that there must be better ways, like it must be possible to have better ways, and that is the setup for most of the gamification stuff, edutainment games, apps. That is the basis for the motivation for making and creating things. There must be other possible way. Now, whether they achieved it or not, that is part of their calling, right? That's their motivation. So they will continue to try to make it possible. Whether it is achieved or not is very dependent on after the fact occurrences. So do we know that, so to speak, for example, is a quote unquote better way to learn? We'll get into that in a little bit, because I think, oh, I use green, that's fine. And then this motivated him to make a video game that replicates his own experience of staring at signs in Japan and trying to desperately figure out what's going on, right? So he took those trips to Japan, and it seems like that would be the premise for So to Speak. You go to Japan and pop in some immersion, and that's all that's really offered about the creator. Seems like a very humble person going about it. As from the community standpoint, I should use this color. So from the community standpoint, the initial game was released in March. This is local time, so March 31st, 2025. I watched it tick because I have been waiting for this. This game has gotten delayed a couple times. It might be a window release kind of situation, or maybe like a wish list type of situation. But in the meantime, this is not the first game. This is not the first time it is exposed. It's not like a shadow drop in or something that just happened to come up. There have been playtesters that are, I'm gonna say, content creators, like from looking at feedback and stuff, and there have been people that follow for more than 3 years. So this project has been ongoing and visible in some sort of social aspect for 3 years. That's what I collected from the people, and also from the initial reviews. Indie games, especially entertainment games that operate at a very niche, can go as low as no, like, single digit reviews to starting off with teens. I would say typically in tens of reviews are very auspicious for a indie release for a niche group. And sure enough, at the time of this writing, it's about 50 reviews, and the vast majority of them, 97%, I'm gonna say 49-ish, like the vast majority, with the one exception. So one person cited very common, far more common criticisms, and it's not unheard of. So we'll go into that a little bit in a bit, and the rest are recommended, right? Recommended. And very common trends for the majority. So the majority our ideas are coming from people who want exposure, and reinforcement. Also, many of them, a common trend was that they followed the project for some time. The one person that had the very common criticism is what we're gonna get into later about the hot takes, and that definitely it often involves questioning. It often involves maximalist perspective, and hyper focus on particulars, on specifics, as opposed to like looking at it as a holistic thing. And it's usually maximalist in the sense of expectations. So overall, glowing launch, fairly above average fanfare for an incredibly niche thing. To draw some comparisons, right? Like which we'll go into now. To draw some comparisons in purple. Right, relevant personal facts to the project. I would say we'll take Shashinko, right? Shashinko as an example. I've played Shashinko. And also Wagotabi. Now these represent, the closest one would be Shashinko, which I have already covered. And I actually didn't do a conclusion yet because I'm pending on a potential motivation for the developer to update the game with the updated content or something. So it's still, one could say, development is updates are still possible. So it's still possible. And then Wagotabi is on a moving update, so regular updates. And one thing that makes Shashinko more relatable to so to speak is Shashinko is a I want to say a standing game. So it stands alone. It's a standalone game. In that's the product. Wagotabi is a mobile forward project. So it is expected for one-time cost to include regular updates in order to bolster and expand on the game. So on a monthly basis. And we won't go into too much of that. But to compare in terms of like its reception and whatnot, the closest metric would be Shashinko, which Shashinko is sitting around like 500 reviews. And to me, on average, for an indie game, especially a first published indie game in a niche environment, this is extremely auspicious. Right? So for so to speak to be out for less than a month now, to have accrue 50 reviews on Steam is fantastic, and Steam only. Shashinko, I'm not sure if started on Steam only, possibly, but we're using the Steam metric, like my experience with Steam as opposed to other things. While Wagotabi has a bigger reach because it prioritized iOS and Android. And those are glowing too because it's practically one of a kind, the way they go about it. Now, that's what I know about comparison. And Shashinko, I think this had 600 words. Shashinko had, to further compare, Shashinko had 145 primaries. And then there it goes up to, I'm going to say like 250 associated in total. So you have 145 primary photos. Shashinko use a photo approach, right? So they use a photography approach where you go around in a foreign place, which happens to be very reminiscent of Japan, and you take photos, and that photos then is presented with the vocabulary, which is a clever way to create a flashcard. And then that flashcard in the back have an assortment of associated terms that I offer as associate terms because the primary focus was associating with the object. Wagotabi takes a different approach, and take Japanese culture as the premise for a travel presentation. So in this case, the travel aspect is closer to, so to speak, at least the impression I'm getting. So Wagotabi has that presentation of traveling, you encounter things, you have dialogue, or you have to decipher things. Shashinko is you snap, you get the exposure, and through that repetition. So Shashinko strikes harder in terms of, let's just say, an SRSC like thing that people are much more familiar with in my recent in experience. So Wanikani, Anki, Hanzuhiro, where you're doing a target word thing. Now Wagotabi has quite a more elaborate way, hence the rolling updates. They provide an environment and they use the dialogue so it feels more closer to a mini game, a modular mini game system promoted through an RPG format. So you walk around, you talk, you have dialogues, you solve tasks. Those tasks create mini games, as in mini tasks that you must accomplish. And meanwhile, they use that RPG format to introduce Japanese culture. Real, actual references, and all of them are curated to reflect learning something. So it's both a culturally relevant source of material as well as a bit of role playing. You role play your dialogue and whatnot. And on top of that, Wagotabi's project is steadily incorporating SRS. So they have an upkeep system that deals with doing your focus testing. They have a book. So does Shashinko as well. So Shashinko does include that as a reference. So Shashinko includes a reference material, like a book which explains the grammar and basic foundations that allow you to utilize the words that are in it. However, it's presented as a reference material. Wagotabi has a reference material as well. However, those engage an SRS system where it tracks your progress and provide graphical things. It also has overall, Wagotabi has like a larger group as well. So not to diminish this, Shashinko is still solely a singular person's project. So is Erik Andersen, and so to speak. Wagotabi has a much more elaborate setup, multiple developers, multiple sources. They are located in Japan as well, and they have collaborators as well. So it's a very much larger project, making it so that it's possible to have mini game systems, reinforcement, language, voice acting, entirely voice act actually in Wakotabi. Shoshinko does not have voice acting, which makes, so to speak, interesting about the voice acting. I'm kind of curious. One person coding most of the stuff. Music was a collaboration, and that's it. It's a visual, non-verbal, visual, explicit things. Wagotabi is completely verbal, role-playing, and then the mini games, many of your reference materials are applying some concepts of SRS as reinforcement, and also longevity, as in the game's replayability as you're waiting for the next one. And it's continuing to expand regularly, which is incredibly in the current standard for my expectations of things that I would look for. It's not to expect that they have to have those things. Lots of structural things that can be in the game, but it would be interesting to see how they go about doing so, right? So observational focus, let's see, we have prior knowledge. Let's add a few other things. So when we talk about words, right, 600 words, and Wakotabi has it. I actually don't know what Wakotabi is up to. I'm gonna say it's in the neighborhood of 600 words too. So I haven't even counted. I should have checked. I would say no more than 200 kanji characters so far, or maybe like around 200 kanji characters and 600 words possibly. So 200 kanji characters, 600 words, lots of N5, possibly some N4 concepts introduced. Shoshinko's dictionary, like reference material, is covering a lot of the N5 and N4 concepts as well, and I don't expect this to be much different. So right now, some prior experience that I have to include. Shoshinko, I would say these are Shoshinko's numbers. Wagotabi is sitting around like maybe 200 kanji, if that, probably less than 200 kanji. That's like 600 words, and this one is clearly N5, and so is Shoshinko. I would say N5 if to give some relative perspective. Meanwhile, things that prior that I bring into this, right? Yes, relevant personal facts. So relevant personal facts, what is it looking like for me? Shoshinko, all the things in Shoshinko. Then we have Wanikani. Wanikani is sitting at 400 kanji. Covering almost pretty much all of N5 vocabulary, but not grammar, right? So this is void of grammar, so no grammar. N5 coverage, and most of N4 with the 400 kanji, right? Mostly. And for words, 1,000. So we're at 1,000 words. That's to contextualize. So that, this, and we have one more that's brought in, which is Duolingo Japanese course. And from the Duolingo Japanese course so far, I'm resuming it in May, right? this would be like a primer to. And in Duolingo Japanese, it's also 400 kanji, and not necessarily perfectly overlapped with Wanikani. 400 kanji, and we're looking at, actually it's not 1,000 words, it's 1,500. And then in Duolingo, we're looking at 3,000 words. But there is a asterisk on here. Duolingo introduces vocabulary initially by using kana, and then they convert the vocabulary into kanji. So I often said anywhere between 4,000, like 3,000 is lower end, 4,000 vocabulary or associated vocabulary overall, and at the higher end, probably somewhere around 6,000. And they're slowly being converted. So in this was intentional in the sense that I was seeking to use Wanikai long enough to sync up with Duolingo Japanese to some extent, and then move on with Duolingo Japanese. But these are the things that are relevant to coming into this game. Additionally, one last thing, while Wanikani is void of grammar, Duolingo has a lot of implicit grammar because it's sentence based, which will be relevant to So to Speak, since it looks like it's probably sentence based puzzle solving or sentence based matching, as opposed to Wagotabi's approach of creating conversational themes to lead to the sentence construction. And then Shashinko is completely void of any output practice for sentence construction. Wagotabi has output for sentence construction, So to Speak might, and Duolingo is exclusively, nearly the vast majority of it is simple sentence output. And Wanikani is an SRS system that has no sentence output other than context clues or context sentence, which you hear and read, or at least that's how I engage with it. So all the structure, like the implicit learning, covers N5 to N4 concepts. So as a result of using Duolingo Japanese, I myself in the background brushed up on N5 to N4 grammar structures, nearly all of the N5 concepts and some of the N4 concepts, which can play a role into how I interpret So to Speak. Because I imagine when it's advertised as a game that no prior Japanese required, so effectively that is telling me that it is an approach that is independent of structure, any like prior structure knowledge. You discover the structure as you go, and you associate things through context clues, rather than requiring a foundation, for example, kana. And all of this also indicates that I have proficiency in kana in both writing, like speech, and writing. And I'm writing the output because the input would be inferred. So listening, seeing, speech, and writing, or kana, which probably this game is going to circumvent. When you get dropped in to a place and you're looking and figuring out, you will circumvent kana. Meanwhile, things like Wanikani expects you to have kana already. At Duolingo belabors the thing for a very, very long time, to the point where kana is predominantly something you grow out of way, way later in the task, when kanji starts to be introduced. So they take their time with kana. Shashinko is completely expected of you to self-impose your own kana. The reference material does have a book in which kana. Wagotabi does progression. So they do the thing where if you learn it, that gets replaced. So you progressively learn and replace all of the English and or your localization content over time, and at some point it would be completely immersed in Japanese. Meanwhile, it would be interesting to see what So to Speak does. I did see English, so translation is part of the workflow, right? And that will play into it. So, with all that said, those are some relevant things. How much time do I have? Not too much left. Observational focus. So let's go to a new canvas for observational focus, which I've highlighted already. Already then. Purple. Okay. So, some focuses. Observational focus. That interests me quite a lot, actually. Largely because I would love to see more iterations and expansion of edutainment things. I don't know what sphere of edutainment is most popular. I think the mobile front, app design is by far, right, most proliferative. Is it consistent? Not entirely sure. I recently entered a dialogue with another person about their skepticism with apps, and so am I. The volume is dramatically high. So Wagotabi is playing in a area that is most a representative, I would say, of where edutainment stuff is. Video games, large production video games, rarely engage or touch upon an educational aspect outside prioritizing it outside of entertainment, right? So observational focus, stuff that I can take from Shashinko and Wagotabi. So things will, I think I refer to this as the like bottom line stuff. I kind of did this bit with Like a Dragon, and because Like a Dragon is now a series that have bottom line expectations. So what are bottom line things? We have the gameplay loop, quote unquote gameplay loop. So oftentimes, how is initial exposure created? In terms of like Shashinko, you literally look at an asset. So you see the asset and then you take a picture of it. And then that leads to the photo that gives you an explicit vocabulary. And that vocabulary is represented in both, actually, it might be only in furigana. So it's represented in furigana as a option, furigana and kanji. I am unsure if domaji is included. I don't think, maybe. But furigana and kanji is the default, if I remember correctly. So you look at the asset, that's where the initial exposure is, right? In Wagotabi, dialogue. So it's represented by conversation. And those conversation are hybrid and then transition. So what I mean by that is there is English with Japanese, and then over time Japanese replaces English. So you walk around, there are some foreigners, right? You're not the only foreigner. There are other foreigners or NPCs. And those NPCs can provide context in a way of explaining more difficult cultural things. It gives leeway so that they can explain, oh, the legend of Momo and whatnot, over time, that becomes Japanese. So it's actually very hard to tell what is in English and then gets phased over because you get used to it. So the idea is you do a transition period, and that's how they do their initial exposure. They can explain things in English in a dialogue way, so they do it through role playing. Hang on. There's a daily Twitch bot. Thank you, daily Twitch bot. Okay. So now the idea is, one of the focus is, how is the initial exposure created? These would be a reference idea on how he can create the initial exposure. I'm not going to make any predictions, obviously. That's kind of what you play the game for. So these are previous things. So one of the center points of is initial exposure, and that's part of the gameplay loop. The next one is initial exposure. We could also call this discovery, right? And another aspect of language learning, oftentimes in edutainment, one of the bottom lines of the gameplay loop is, what is the context? So what are the context context mechanics? Shashinko is entirely still reliant on your photo album. So the context mechanic is, you're taking a photo, you have your photo album, and it gets reinforced through associating the image with the term. And that's how that's the context mechanic, right? So Shashinko ends there. Wagotabi offers multiple things in that, while dialogue provides the exposure, right? So it's no longer in the context mechanic, then is application in dialogue. So how one need, like, required to speak, right? To speak, ask questions, understand relative cultural bits, like cultural bits, and problem solving. Like, oh, you need to find a bag. Well, you have to ask people how to look for a bag, or where do you get a bag? And objects are introduced based through problem solving. And then you learn the cultural bits slowly through English, and then eventually those English are transitioned into Japanese as the relevant vocabulary is being phased out for Japanese. So that's their context over time. And so to speak, you know, we can do speculations. If you get dropped in and you don't know the foreign language, you know, the foreign language that you're dropping in the country, you can look at signs. You see, like, oh, okay, there are some buses next to this sign, so there's a chance that this is a bus stop, that kind of thing, right? So it's probably going to be visual, like Shashinko. However, there's probably a leeway in using a hybrid system with some translation and some word exposure, like just straight up word exposure. So kind of like Shashinko, where you discover something, you're given a term, and that term floats around until you can associate it with its environmental context, right? Very much like early puzzle solving. For example, when you're playing something like, which I will throw in something extra. I play a lot of indie puzzlers over my life, indie puzzle games, and puzzlers tend to drop you in a universe with specific rules. Specific rules, not unlike being dropped in a country that you don't speak the target language. The language has specific rules, and you have to operate within them in the context, right? So indie puzzlers, they devise specific rules that are outside of the rules that you typically operate in, and maybe some concessions. So there's like some logic, there's logic that attaches the abstract rules, abstractions. And that's probably how I feel that, so to speak, is going to approach things. There's going to be a mechanical loop. And that's one of the focuses. What is the mechanical loop? How is the discovery done? That leads into the context that provides the comprehension. And oftentimes, this leads to like a hot take, which I'll include here. This hot take. Oftentimes, when people talk about comprehension, is often the theory of comprehensible input is brought up, right? And if we were being reductive, which I feel the more common time, reductive arguments would often go for a one-to-one relation. And what I mean by that is it is only constitutes, a lot of times it's very stringent what constitutes as an application of comprehensible input, and that if you're learning a language, then it is a language that must provide the comprehension, the comprehensibility. And to me, that is very agreeable, right? If you want to learn Japanese using Japanese in a comprehensible way, that is a very efficacious method. When it comes to video games and SRS and my, I guess, life or career, my prior career in science, in academia, it is through applying something like comprehensible input, but now we're doing abstraction connection. So when you have an abstraction, as in how do I know, right, this sign means bus stop, if someone doesn't describe a bus stop in Japanese that I understand, right? They show a bus, animate a bus, nonverbal cues, visual cues, or even give me a story of what it's like to remind me of the word bus and stop. These are abstractions. Things can be comprehensible if it's related in the form of abstractions, and oftentimes many of these applications use mnemonics. And mnemonics tend to be very reliant on resonance. So one has to be related. Mnemonics is a form of, it is loosely, indirectly a form of applying comprehensible input. It's comprehensible and memorable if you can resonate with it. If thinking of a red of a rectangular sign next to an awning glass thing tells you this is a bus stop, and then you look at that word, it's like that word must mean bus stop. It is comprehensible that that word is bus stop because all your imagery and stuff provides the context, right? The context. And oftentimes video games, especially puzzlers, can educate or define rules without ever explicitly saying anything. Cue really wonderful puzzlers, like by design. Things like Portal. Recently, the Talos Principle got remastered, or Talos Principle 2. Any maybe a shout out to Japanese games, any Sokoban games, which a particular one that I played for a while was Monster Expedition, a Monsters Expedition. And why is this relevant to science, right? To science. You do something, you test it, and then you observe and try to explain it. Now, oftentimes comprehensible input, when it is applied to language, is assuming that someone else is explicitly providing the comprehensibility at some point. Well, when you're discovering something, you are using what you know in context in order to ascertain a meaning, but it does not require an overlapping literal one-to-one relationship. That is awfully incredibly restrictive. And overall, whatever people say about this reductive approach of, oh, you got to listen to the native language and etc. That's the most I agree in addition. So that's cool. That's a form of input using comprehensibility. This way, in video games, it can be visual, it can be virtual, which imitates another version, another component of what the really edgy thing called immersion. And actually, Erik Andersen uses this buzzword to immersion. And when I played other video games, people would say, oh, now you're immersing in real content. That's one of the really hot takes that I get all the time. Like, well, whether it's real or not, it's comprehensible. So you could use abstract concepts to learn real content. It's comprehensible. So there's often this very reductive way of, and it's on both ends. One that are purists who say to learn Japanese is to see it written, like use Japanese to learn Japanese. And then on the other hand, it's that you have to be immersed in it. So one of the pillars of immersion is visual, living space, lifestyle, and then also the abstractions of writing system and whatnot, right? So yeah, all the above. Like, it's not one or the other, it's all of the above. Immersion has lots of immersion has emergence on how dynamic it is to engage in someone's capacity to learn something, especially a child. But an adult being thrown into a foreign environment also leverages, if not even more, with even more discipline and structure than a child is able to in a foreign environment. If you throw a child into a foreign environment, they will likely not have the capacity to survive in that foreign environment, right? You have the discipline, which also comes with its interference. That's where most people feel like interference is bad, or you can somehow do away with interference in order to embrace immersion and learn like a kid again. It's like, well, to learn most efficaciously in adult, you would leverage if you're going to have to negotiate that interference, you would probably have to also have the opportunity to leverage what is important about that interference. Discipline. What you bring, like this, what you bring to an experience. You can choose to pretend like you don't know any of your prior experience and then pretend like you're a child, an ignorant child that has no prior perspective. That's fair enough. That's definitely up to the prerogative to the person. But in this case, yes, this is probably what I would expect in a mechanical loop of this nature, right? So that's pretty addressing a very common hot take while we're going about it. Other design cues. For me, oftentimes there's a very how was I say, expect like a music and sound, right? But let's start with music. Since there's music in this, it often gears towards a certain type of a beta wavy aesthetic, right? And this is more in the realm of subjectivity and very hard to quantify, but generally when it comes to games like this, it's interesting to see what type of musicality they decide to embrace. There is a very classical trend when it comes to education material versus entertainment material, but it would be really fun to see if someone breaks the mold and, so to speak, might break that mold or take risks. We'll see. And then of course there's sound, and under sound I am going to include vocals, right? So from that description we are assuming there are vocals, and this is an incredibly hot topic that a lot of people mention, and we'll write it in red: native speech. I earnestly think there is a very natural tendency for the native speaker fallacy when it comes to a trendy, when it comes to an trending language. However, I would concede that Japanese is still largely like 95% homogeneous. That's not the greatest. What I mean is it's more homogeneous than if this game was English and or Spanish, for example. So this is a hot topic because there's this elitism that deals with native speaker fallacy, that prompts a lot of native speaker fallacy when it comes to reviewing or looking for designs in a game. It doesn't look like anyone really pointed that out in the reviews, so maybe it's kept to a minimum. But the voice acting, I appreciate the like the whatever they include. I like to make this a little bit hotter. My experience is Duolingo, and that's synthetic. Interesting enough, Duolingo, and I'm specifically talking about Duolingo Japanese because I don't think it's true for Duolingo Spanish. There's certain exceptions where it's not synthetic, but for the most part, in Japanese, it's 100% synthetic. And then, you know, even Hanzahiro, 100% synthetic. Now, recently, Wanikani has provided vocabulary, so I could hear vocabulary words that is native, or I'm gonna say native in quotations because they're one representation of native, two representations actually, a female, actually two females, occasionally there was another one, and then one male so far in terms of how they repeat. So when you're playing a puzzler, I expect to see like, oh, here's a card, right? Kind of like Duolingo, and you tap on this card and you're probably going to hear an output of maybe native or not. We'll see. So that's one of those things, and I appreciate it. Whichever type of input you have, I feel one of the fallacious logic is if you get so used to hearing something, it takes a lot of effort to unlearn it, or like relearn it, or abandon it. I don't particularly resonate with that type of thing. It's more like I keep it and I learn something on top of it. Like it's an addition, and eventually this stuff grooms themselves out. But generally speaking, it often deals with the concept of passive habit formation, habit formation and management, versus an active one, which I typically prescribe to personally for my own well-being. Active. Okay, and I think that's a good place to... Oh, there's one really, really off. This is going to be a red. This is hot topic, and it comes up quite a lot. Oh, let's end with a few hot topics that I notice, and that's coming with these two are related. Comprehensiveness and challenge. This is incredibly hot because when you start thinking about when you start throwing around the word game, challenge takes on a whole different target audience. And then when you combine it with learning, this is multiplicative. I don't know how to spell that. Let's just say we'll use the word compounded expectations. And I talked about this about Shashinko in the beginning and throughout, but I haven't done a conclusion. And in Wagotabi, I did a tentative take on Wagotabi, and that's usually dealing with challenge and gaming, with gaming and learning combined to the challenge, which often involves comprehensiveness. So, where's the rest? Where's the rest of the game? Like, it deals with the idea that people know how many kanji. How many kanji they want to know, right? Where's the rest? I think when I'm playing Wagotabi, the most common question often is, oh, is the full game released yet? And that's a tough thing to quantify, especially for a video game, that's tough, right? For a game and a product, that's tough. For a learning experience, it leans on comprehensiveness. And then that comprehensiveness often dictates its challenge. So, oh yeah, how many kanji do you have to know? Oh yeah, that can be very tough. 6,000 kanji, that's a lot. Or like Chinese have, oh no, 4,000 homonyms, that's tough. That's kind of the comprehensive. And then when you take the game, it's often, even if the content is limited, how challenging is it? Provide the comprehensiveness of a video game because you want to be pushed to your limit. Now, this is, in my opinion, one of the top 5 hottest points of criticism. Accuracy through its comprehensiveness, and challenge through its gameplay loop. And the one person that is disgruntled, the one discontent on so to speak so far, is also the one are very similar to the one really hot negative thread in Shashinko that I saw recently, because I kind of up to date on these. And then far in looking at the vast minority of negative reviews of Wagotabi. And in addition, personal anecdote that I want to throw in myself, which is in blue and red probably, is my experience sharing my learning experience with Wanikani, Hanzahiro, and Duolingo. All of these come back to the challenge and the comprehensiveness of what I'm using. Like, how much kanji does this cover? How much Hanzi does this cover? How fast are you learning this? And by fast, is it keeping it relatively hard or is it easy? Oh, that's easy. They made it so easy that you're probably brain dead and boring because it's not challenging. And oh, this only covers N5 to N4, but we know that there's N5 through N1 and HSK1 through HSK6, and then all the rest is optional, or something like that. That is probably the hottest thing. And I think it is very difficult to be at the developer side of things and say, well, it's a process. And that's usually what I default to. It's a process. If you are past N5 and N4 and you still want to play this game, the point of criticism is not that it doesn't cover N3 to N1. Or you don't like the gameplay loop, but the gameplay loop has to be built in a manner that is repetitious enough for retention, right? And since you don't like the gameplay loop, you decide there are better ways to do this gameplay loop. Here are other examples, and it's taken out of context and is beyond the scope of the game's mechanical design for comprehensiveness and challenge. If it's not challenging to you, you can choose to make it more challenging and or choose something else. I think a criticism when it comes to how challenging something is and how comprehensive it is classical to pretty much most of the post-internet world now, largely because expectations expect that you spend $1, it has to offer you the universe. That's how expectations levy each other. It's an exaggeration, but at the same time, I can't help but think emotionally that's where that's coming from. So all of them line up to this, like nearly exclusively. The thing, it boils down to one of the most trendiest comments or questions or piece of rhetoric that I hear too much. Why does this exist? As though, but you might be thinking, oh yeah, I want to hear what this person says about this, but they don't. They actually say all their grievances as a confirmation bias for why it shouldn't exist, not answering the question of why there are so many other people who like this product, and then why did the developer make this product? Have you asked the developer and understand from their perspective? No, it's your own personal op-ed on your grievances. And yet, in the face of all that is reality, most people enjoy this product and therefore it exists. And a developer made this product because they thought creating something to contribute to language learning should exist. Yeah, and like, why does this exist? Spend some time showing some empathy and connecting with people who create things that you consume that you yourself do not have the maybe effort or curiosity to create yourself, right? That's kind of why I like to highlight design and trying to understand the developer, because I'm not making this stuff. It's great to encourage developers, especially Erik Andersen and Ryan, I've got his last name, but Ryan from Shoshinko, and all the Wagatabi staff have, I'm not sure they're their real names. I think they're pseudonyms like Amataratsu and Izanagi are one of the more active developers. Those people are bringing something that you yourself are not spending time doing. So when you're criticizing a product without understanding this question, why does this exist? It's interesting how little time you care about a product that you're using or not using, that or disgruntledly using. And most of the negative content and discussions and negativity, it's like being righteous. It's almost as though it's a nocebo effect. They were expecting it to fail, so therefore they trudge along it in order to make a hyperbolic statement that was voluntarily self-induced and nearly force the developers to relent by saying, I'm sorry you feel that way, you can refund the game, and that's it. Like, those individuals tend to try to beat the developer into submission by saying, well, in the end of the day, you get to choose to refund your game. And I'm not one of them, so I don't voluntarily choose to do something that I inherently want to, quote unquote, waste my time. So in no way am I saying I can ever imagine myself being in a position like that. Unless I'm coerced and forced into it. This is a voluntary decision, right? And lastly, one last thing, which I did hear valid. I actually heard read Erik Andersen's response to this. And the very last thing that I kind of am looking for is retention, right? Or not retention, but reinforcements. What are reinforcements? Methods of reinforcement. And I would like to think oftentimes it's the gameplay loop when it comes to video games. Right? That's related to it's reinforcement. However, edutainment games have often used references. So references and databases feel like a very common thing. References and databases. So I would be very curious if maybe Erik will implement more references and databases, integrate references and databases, and that's gonna end up raising things like Anki, some sort of SRS integration and whatnot. So we'll see if that's in there. And I'm a little over time. I went a little 30 minutes over time. But yes, yeah, that kind of summarizes my thought process right now. Yep. How well we're gonna manage to do all of this stuff is going to be interesting. But yes, now we can begin our journey into, so to speak. I wanted to give a fair shake, address some hot takes. Wanted to get to know the developers a little bit more. This offers the opportunity to kind of maybe differentiate my motivations from other individuals. We're gonna get into it. Thank you for chilling and listening to this opening opinions to, so to speak. Right, let me get started. Give me a sec. All right. Let's check audio levels. That's an okay amount of sound, right? The music's great, by the way, especially the title screen music. Place it like here, and obviously you have a choice of romaji, which will leave off by default, and it looks like it's by default. So that answers that question. I still don't know if Shoshinko has a romaji, but oftentimes it's preferred that you're already working with kana at the minimum. I imagine furigana would be in this. Go in, level select right off the bat. Shinkansen. That's some brown noise right there. And I imagine that castle in the back is supposed to be like something like Osaka Castle. Okay. Drag your yellow... Okay, so we have English, right? Drag your yellow Japanese word onto its English meaning. And we have Deguchi. Alright. Where do I do that? Match blanking yellow. So like, take this. Ooh, the music's great. It's like beta wavy. Beta, gamma wavy music. So lots of high, drawn out ringing to give you like that very spacey feel, like Wanderlust feel. Some percussion. It might be a little bit louder than I expected. It's okay. We'll adjust that. What? Oh, interesting. And then it has exit and mouth. Yeah. You do not have to pronounce this yet. Oh, intriguing. So they're separating the stuff. All right. Okay, so there's the lookup. Oh, and they're separate entries. Okay. All right. Click and drag the background to move. Uh-huh. Go on. Okay. So are we just dragging this now to this? I see. Okay. Go on. Let's okay. All right. So we click on stuff, right? Eki. And that should end up in our few more words. Okay. All right, irikuchi. Okay. And then they tell you how many phrases. Okay. Click the speech bubble. Drag the words to its English meaning. Okay. So you overhear someone. Iriguchi. Yep. Oh, that's interesting sounding.
Iriguchi.
Oh, two people.
Iriguchi.
It sounds interesting. Interesting. So we drag this.
入り口
Alright, iriguchi. It's kinda on the louder side. Okay. I think that's controls the voice, possibly.
入り口
It's fine. Wait. Oh, and then there's furigana.
入り口
Iriguchi. Oh, I could hear the hallway effect. So the recording is in a louder, hang on.
入り口
Yeah, I can. Wait, can I? Wait,
入り口
can I hear the separate things?
入り口
No. There was a slight hallway effect on the recording. Okay. 公园, right? 公园. Cohen.
公園
Yep. Hallway effect. Oh, that's kind of cute. Cohen. Yeah. The audio is recorded in like a wider space, so you can kind of hear the sound bouncing off the wall.
公園
Cohen. Okay. I can click on this. Oh, there's N. Can I? Oh, it's just N? Wait, what about Cole? What about public? Six phrases left.
公園
New phrases. Cole and okay. Oh, okay.
園
Here's the N part. What about the public part? Cole? No Cole? Okay. I see. Oh, I forgot. I can drag. That's right. I can drag around in the environment. That's right. So Deguchi, right?
出口
Nothing for De. Nothing assigned to De. It's kind of different. Makes sense.
駅
Icky.
駅
Fair enough. Okay, and then that completes that. All right. So get out of a station. A park is nearby. Wouldn't be surprised if a park is nearby. Jinja.
神社
Okay.
神社
Jinja. Okay. Do I have to. Oh,
神社
okay. I have to match the furigana to the kana to the kanji. Okay. It's an entrance to a shrine. Oh, I didn't realize you can click on this stuff. No tori. Okay, alright. Click the book on the lower right screen to drag words from the book onto signs. Ah, okay. I see. So that's how we're doing. Alright. So jinja.
神社
Right. And then eki.
駅
The music's great. That's kind of like my jam. A lot of great background. All right, so yeah, that makes sense. Iriguchi is the other way, and Jinja is this way. Makes sense for signs.
Iriguchi.
Iriguchi, Jinja.
Jinja.
Let's see if we can apply some of our one kind stuff. So we just got Jin actually recently, Jin, and then Ja. So it is Shin and Jin for this, and it's the God radical. You humble yourself to God, get on your shins, right? Get on your shins, and good thing you're wearing jeans. So Jin, then Shin, and then Sha for company, and you're bearing, and then the shaman comes by, and it's Ja because it's Rendaku. Jinja. Right? Some things to integrate when I'm thinking in my head, anyways. What I'm thinking in my head at the same time. Alright. So we have Ko and... Oh. Wait. Do I just... What is that telling me?
公園
Okay. Ko and... Okay. Okay. Iriguchi.
入り口
Would be kind of awesome to have a pitch pattern. The pitch pattern here to match the person speaking. Himi. Interesting. Himi. That's a interesting way to... I don't know the read he for that character. So...
Himi
Himi. Intriguing. Can I get a breakdown? Alright. That's fine. And then Deguchi.
出口
Okay. Can I click on anything here? Alright. Oh, that was chapter 1? Oh no. I think we might could blow through this fairly quickly. So Himi, interesting. Himi. Only have Ko and Ji. No He. But that's the character I think about. Alright, so we're going to Himi. Start here. Yokoso. Yokoso Himi. And then they omitted the particle. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Yokoso Himi is sufficient.
ようこそ
Yokoso. Okay. Welcome.
ようこそ
And then I guess I take the book and use Himi.
日々 ようこそようこそ日々
Yokoso Himi. Yeah. Neat. Alright. Alright. Go on. Go on. Himi Eki. Click on the river to get a clue. It's a river, okay. Kawa. Oh, this way? Click on the river to get a clue. Like it's a river. Okay. Now what do I do? Okay. Oh, I see. That's what they mean. And then, so does that mean I can drag it onto this? Kawa. And then, oh. Wait. And then I take the book and do this?
日々
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like it. I like it. And then we take Imi and Eki. I see.
日々
That explains the book.
駅日見駅
Imi Eki. So that's kind of a record keeping, right? This is a reference thing for potential retention, but it's like very vanilla. Like there's no reinforcement or anything, but having this is a reference material. All right, cool. Hold the right mouse button to see what you can click on. Ah, we have the Rocksteady investigator site. I'm kidding. But what you can interact with. Okay. So let's see. Himishi. Probably Himishi. So we can break this apart or together. Oh, okay. And then we take Himi. Or can we just throw it on here? Oh,
日々
yeah. Okay. Oh, that means I need something to represent. Say maybe this person will provide. Hashi. Nope. This is a bridge. Hashi. I'm referring to so.
橋
Hashi. And I need to find bridge somewhere. Like this.
橋
Let's see. Okay. All right. How do I do city? Oh, no. I can just... No? I guess you don't need to get all the breakups? Maybe? Kawa. Yep. I just...
川
Kawa. Alright, so we got Kawa. School. Himi gakko. Okay.
学校
Gakko. Alright. Then we match it with the
Gakko.
kanji. Yeah, gakko. And then... Oh, and... Okay.
学校
I see. Gakko. Okay. Neat. What the heck? The forest? Do we have Morie somewhere? Hold up. So Himi school.
日々日々学校
Himi gakko. Okay. Oh, and then you can just advance if you're not looking. Okay. It's a restaurant that sells udon. Okay. Himi udon. And it's spelled out in, yep. Got it. Udon. That's kind of cute that they got that the family thing really comes into it, huh?
うどん
Udon. Noodles. Newt. Okay. So now we click on this, right? And then we take what? Udon.
うどん
And Himi.
日々日々うどん
Himi udon.
駅
Oops.
入り口
Eki iriguchi. Oh. Oh, that's kind of... Okay, so they mix it up a bit. Okay. So can I take the whole thing? Yep. Or eki, Ekiguchi. Iriguchi. We're just gonna take the entrance,
入り口
right? And then maybe this
駅
Eki Iriguchi. And then we take the whole thing again, or no? I think it says question mark. Combine. Nope. Just kidding. Just kidding. We'll just click on the next one. Now how do we do this? We can do it this way. Imi,
日々
Imi, and Eki. Imi Eki.
駅
That's fine.
入り口駅入り口
Eki Iriguchi, right? Now we have
駅出口
Eki Deguchi. That's kind of interesting. So you're overhearing, but you're only picking up. It's not like full dialogue. You're just picking up keywords, right? That you would listen for, which is definitely a way to go about this.
駅出口
Okay.
出口
Deguchi.
駅 駅出口駅出口
Right. Eki Deguchi. Okay. Eki. Just
駅
okay. Flap. Oh, there's Mori. Mori Hoteru.
森ホテル
Mori Hoteru. Retraction for myself. Mori Hoteru. Mori Hoteru.
森ホテル
Okay, and then Mori
ホ
Hoteru.
テル
And then I see.
ホテル森ホテル
Yeah, Mori Hoteru. Alright, alright, okay. Nice. Hikari. Light. Hikari.
光
Hikari. You can use the middle mouse button to. Oh! Oh, that is a world of difference. Oh, okay. Alright, alright.
駅
Icky. Sure. Got you.
駅
I go into the station.
タクシ
Taxi. Okay.
タクシー
Chillin'. Ooh.
駐車場
Chushajo. I didn't get Chu yet. Yeah, Chushajo.
駐車場
駐車場 Okay. Yeah. 自動車 What am I looking at? Just the huge space itself? Wait, let me click on this. Oh, the separate things. Okay. Okay, we got the car. Can we highlight the place? How do we do place? This general is this general location?
駐車
Yeah, park car. But yeah, interesting. Okay, let's go over here. You don't show. Okay. So, oh, that means I can okay. Automatic car. So, can't get, oh, Joel. How do you do Joel?
南口
Minamiguchi. Okay. South entrance.
口
Guchi. Right. And Minami.
南口
Right. And then we have to do this. Right.
口南
Right. So dialogues and trees. Dialogue, like, there are two ways, and then you do them both in order to reinforce. 2 ways for each. What do you Kuruma. That's kind of cute.
車
The kids sound really cute. Kuruma.
自動車
Jidosha. Yep. We can use
自
it.
動車
Jidosha. Same. Bus.
バス
Okay. Basu no riba. That doesn't say basu no riba. Hikari. Ooh. Maybe. Hikari eki Minamiguchi. So the place is Hikari, right? So Hikari Station South exit. And then we have Bus Noriba. Oh, where's our kanji for that? Oh, maybe Riba Noriba is typically in Kana. This is a bus stop.
乗り場
Noriba.
乗り場
Yeah, boarding zone. Stop. Okay. And then we have bus.
バス
Basu Noriba.
乗り場バス乗り場
Basu Noriba. Oh, we have this stuff. Where's Hikari? Which is the place. Or light. Okay.
光
Hikari Eki. Oh, I think you can match anything, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, you can match anything. Nice. Whoops. So they do subtraction like this. Oh, no. As long as it's green, though. But let's go with, like, the components. So we have Eki.
駅光駅
Hikari Eki. And then Minamiguchi. So...
口
Uchi. Rendaku. Do we have Minami? Did I get Minami? Oh, we did have Minamiguchi, right? But do we have the meaning of Minami? Oh, we do.
南光駅南口
Ikarieki Minamiguchi. Okay. What do we have here? Jitensha. Jitensha. Choshajo. Makes sense.
自転車
Jitensha. Jitensha. Ne?
自転車
Can I just highlight this general area? No. Because I don't know how to get Joel. It's a place. Where's our parking? No, we don't have parking yet. How do I get you to park? I mean, we got the car.
車
How do we exemplify Joel? Or wait. Oh, okay. Alright, let's just keep going for now. That's it. Okay.
バス
That's fine.
エレベーター
Elevator. Okay,
エレベータ
that's fine. Escalator. Oh, that's kind of cute. Escalator. With an explanation, right?
ーエ
That's
スカ
that?
レー
Okay.
タ
Okay. So now we... Right.
ーエスカレータ
Oops. Ah! Wait, come back.
ーエレベータ
Data. Hikari eki.
ー光駅
Okay, so you can go both ways, and then taxi.
タクシー
All right. Okay, so how do I do?
駐車場
Oh, wait. How do I do place? In a ha wait, hold up. Let's think about this for a moment. Oh, it's underneath. Okay. Oh, wait. I can use my investigator site. That doesn't help. Wait. What? All right. Can I just highlight the place? Maybe I can highlight the whole thing.
駐車場
Yushajo, just the whole place. Parking lot, okay. That's fair. They weren't gonna break down the things, okay. Alright. I got you. Oh, that's cool.
池と石
Ike to ishi. Ike, pond, to ishi, and stones. Pond and stones. Nani? Nani kore? What? Oh.
石
Oh, I had to click on. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to click
Oh.
on.
石池池と石
Yeah, iketo ishi. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Kito ishi. Okay. Ki
石
ishi. And the heck? And can I? There it is.
と
Okay, I guess that's one way to do it. Tree and stone. All right. Basu do taxi. Okay. I got you.
バス
Basu
タクシー
taxi.
とバスとタクシー
Basu do taxi.
バスと車
Kuruma.
バス
Basu
車
kuruma.
とバスと車
All right. Oh, there's some serious dopamine from all the matching. Interesting. Jitensha to kuruma. Oh, okay.
車
What? Really? Okay.
自転車
Jitensha,
車
kuruma, and
と自転車と車
jitensha to kuruma. Hana.
木と花
Ito hana. Oh, yeah. Kito. Ki to ki
木
hana.
花と木と花
To hana, and then
花
I have to click on this.
花
Oh, I need a visual confirmation. Yes. What time is it? Okay. Kawa to hashi. Okay.
川
Kawa
橋
hashi.
と川と橋
To hashi. Hashi to ike.
池と道
Ike to michi. Oh, ike to michi. Alright, michi,
道
ike.
池
And then, oh, the
と
I don't know how I
Ike to
feel
michi.
about conjunctions though, having to go into my book for conjunctions. Okay.
橋
Hashi,
池
ike,
と橋と池
shito, ike. Alright, alright, cool. Look at these little. You know what's a little bit it's kind of void of warmer colors. What am I getting at? Oh, like glowy yellowish, you know, like it's void of orange. And I mean there are some reds, but the place is kind of, it's like it feels like a rainy, dreary day without like glowing some warm colors in it, like a sun or something. Oh, that's chapter 2. Okay. How many chapters are in this game? 16? We'll do one more, right? We'll do one more. 16. So how many days do I have? Oh, I don't have that many days actually, because Wanikani is gonna spike at some point. So we'll keep it to 5 days maybe. This music is great. Honestly, Man, I'm really feeling this music. Okay. All right. Oh. Bori?
鳥だ
Borida. Okay, so they use the casual form. Right. Borida.
鳥
Oh. How do we do da? Like it's present? It exists. Oh, maybe I click on... How do you do exist? Can I click on it? It is a bird. Okay, that's
だ
fine.
鳥だ
That's fine. Torita. Alright. Okay, we got sakana.
魚だ
Sakanada. Aw, that guy sounds like an older, almost like grandfather figure.
魚
Sakana. Can I click on... Ah,
だ魚だ
Sakanada. The mix-up is pretty good. I like how, I think I hear 7 voices, I think, so far, and they kind of cycle through them. But they're also segregated by age and like age, the thing you're clicking on, and then when you're reviewing. I'm not sure if it cycles like one pool or one not, but it's kind of neat. I like the different voices. Thank you. Bicicleta?
自転車だ
Jidensha da. Bicicleta.
自転車
I guess what is the closest thing to this? Hay una bicicleta? No, that would be like are, or like are ano, or are wa jidensha da. I guess just bicicleta. Oh, you know, es bicicleta. Okay. How do I think the easier way.
だ自転車だ
Jidensha da. Eh? Kuruma da.
車だね
Kuruma da ne. Oh.
車
And then da ne.
だね車だね
Ah, kuruma da ne. Okay, so they just straight up bypass it. I'm like, how do you do ne? Other than click on the R with an English thing. Ooh, gato. Hey Mao, right? Hey Mao. 这是一只黑猫。
猫だ
猫だ。
猫
No black. I click on you.
だ猫だ
猫だ。非常 dangerous? What is that? I was expecting like, no, it's not dangerous. Okay. How do you wait, hold
非
up.
常ボタンだ
Hijo? Hijo? Can I hear that again?
非常ボタンだ
부단다. Hijo 부단다. Interesting.
非常ボタンだ
Hijo 부단다. Hijo? How would you illustrate this? Wait. Oh. Really? Oh no, I'm not even sure. That's interesting. Oh, botan. Oh, botan. That. Yeah, button,
ボタン
botan, and then dot.
だ
Interesting. Oh, really? Emergency. Huh. Can
非
I-
常ボタンだ非常ボタンだ
Joel Botanda. Neat? Ah, that's interesting. He Joel ends up being That's so interesting. Fei Cheng has become emergency. Very or extreme? Extreme. I guess extreme would be an emergency, right? Interesting.
海だね。
Umidane. Umi
海
da. Anya da.
だ
海だね
海だね
The emphasis. Umidane. Alright.
赤信号だ。
赤信号だ。赤信号だ。So, oh, I thought it was crosswalk or something. Ne? Wait. Akashin. Oh, wait. No, I know what that is. Oh,
信号
Shingo. Oh, it is. Oh, Aka. Oh, it doesn't do the IO. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Whoops. Can I take the red, please? Do I have anything else that's red? Oh, the signal is red. Okay. Wait. Let me. Okay. All right, buddy.
赤信号だ。
Oh, so maybe I click on no.
デコカフェ
Echo Cafe. Stop. How?
カフェ
Cafe Neko.
猫カフェ
Alright. We're good.
カフェ猫カフェ
Okay. Now, how do I click on just the red?
赤信号だ。
I only want the red part. Wait, do I have to zoom in? Can I?
赤
Oh,
赤信号
oh, I see. Okay, I needed to overlap with the
だ
red.
赤信号だ
Akashingoda. Oh, makes sense now. Akashingoda. I thought it was referring to the traffic light and or the pole. I'm like, what the heck? Akashingoda. Okay. Basu Noriba. Okay. Noriba, can I? Ugh! Wait.
バ
Okay, but how do I nori you? Oh, wait, I can just use my book. We'll use nori.
乗り場
Basu.
バス
バス乗り場だ。
Basu noribada. Okay.
乗 り場バスだバス乗り場だ
Basu noribada. Interesting. So they use B as well. Alright. What do we have here? Basuda.
バスがある
Basu ga aru. Okay. Nice.
バス
How the heck? Alright, we gotta click on this, right? It is a bus, so we got... Oh. Oh, it...
あるがバスがある
Okay, so they're bypassing predicates. Not predicates, particles. Also got it. Okay.
木がある
You got it.
木
Can I just... It exists?
あるが木がある
You got it. Okay. Are we talking about the bathroom here?
トイレがあるよ
Toire. Okay. Toire ga aru yo. Uh,
トイレ
toilet. Toilet, guess we use is.
あるがよトイレがあるよ
Yeah, and another emphasis. Toire ga aru yo. Oh, and it's here too. Okay.
トイレあるがトイレがある
Okay. Yeah, deguchi. Yeah, we can just type the romaji, I suppose.
出口
Oh, you know what? I'm actually kind of curious if this is compatible. Let's find out. I doubt it, but it would be impressive. Nope. Wait. Oh no. It might be. Hold up. Does this take IME? Nope. Nope. Okay. I was curious if it took IME. Oh, wait. It kind of did. Oh, hold up. But it doesn't display it. Wait. So if I type like Hana, right? Wait. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't play nice with the... It doesn't play nice with the Windows one. How about what if I like type kanji and then no, okay, it's fine. Romaji will work. That's what. Let's have multiple ways to do this, right?
島がある
Shima? Shima ga aru. Oh. Shima.
島あるが島がある
Shima ga aru.
駐車場がある
駐車場がある. Okay.
駐車場あるが駐車場がある
Okay.
駐車場
Maybe we do aru.
あるが
That's kind of cut off.
ドアがある
出口だよ
Doa. ドアがある。出口だよ。That's cute. Okay. Is there a door? I need to find a door. Oh no, can I use this door? Okay.
ドア
Door.
あるがドアがある
Okay.
ドアがある。
出口だよ。
Let's do 出口。
出口
だよ。そうだ。
だよ出口だよ
出口だよ。Okay. Alright, what do we have here?
魚がいる。
いる。魚がいる。Alright, so now we're doing animate. I wonder if they differentiate.
魚
So we got 魚。
いるが
There it is.
魚がいる
Animate object. 魚がいる。
魚がいる。
焼き魚があるね。
魚がいる。魚が、焼き魚があるね。Oh, okay. 焼き
魚
grilled fish, 焼き魚. And I guess we can we'll use this way.
あるがね焼き魚があるね
Arune. Yaki. More like a question, right? Yeah. Yakisaka? Maybe? Is that person asking questions actually?
魚がいる。
焼き魚があるね。
Can I hold? Hold?
焼き
Oh, wait. Whoa. Okay, I haven't. Okay, so
魚
Sakana. Can I not? It's grilling.
や
Wait. Maybe whatever this guy's holding on to? No. Okay, so how do I go? Ah, yes.
焼き
Okay.
焼き
Alright.
や
Okay.
魚
Sakana and Iru.
いるが魚がいる
Yeah, that is a. Oh, they do add question marks. Okay. Sakana ga iru? Yaki sakana ga aru ne. Aru ne. They're green, right? They're green, so we're fine. Nice. Grilled fish. Delightful. Oh. The heck? Perils. What the heck is that goober doing?
犬がいる。
Inu.
犬
Iru.
いるが犬がいる
Inu ga iru. Okay. Oh, Inu. Oh, Inu Koen. Inu
犬
Koen.
公園犬公園
Inu Koen.
犬公園があるよ。
Inu Koen ga aru yo.
公園 犬
Inu. I think if we type B, no. How about exist or is? There we go. That's how we do it. Wait, no, that's not how we do it. Oh, that's fine. This works.
あるがよ犬公園があるよ
Okay.
猫がいる。
猫カフェがあるね。
猫カフェがあるね。猫. Alright, I guess I can just dang it. 猫.
猫
いる。
いるが猫がいる
Mm-hmm. Then we have Neko. Neko Cafe, actually.
猫
Heck!
カフェ
Cafe. Aru. Oh.
ある
The heck?
猫カフェがあるね
Okay. Alright. Oh. This is a big scene. Kuma ga iru. Wait. Hold. Tsui? Chui? Interesting. What does chui mean? Idea? Or idea? Kuma.
い
What the? E? I just wanted the Kuma. Stop.
クマが
Iru.
いるクマがいる
Kuma ga iru. Interesting. This must be different. Interesting. Can I break you down? Can't.
クマがいる
Kuma ga iru. Yeah, that's a good
ク
question.
マ
Kuma.
いるがクマがいるクマ
Okay. Careful. I would have thought of like, I don't know. I don't know. Kioskete or something. Kioskete. Okay.
鳥がいるよ。
焼き鳥があるよ。
Yakitori. I just realized that yakitori kind of the grilled bird. Okay. So yakitori,
焼き鳥
yakitori. Skewers. Okay. All right. How do you?
あるがよ焼き鳥があるよ
And then the other person's like, "Hey, look, there's a bird." And it's like grilled chicken, grilled chicken skewers.
鳥
Howdy. They're looking in opposite directions. Like, boy, howdy.
いるがよ鳥がいるよ
Perfect couple right there. One's looking at food and the other one's looking at this bird watching.
人がいる。
人がいる。人 people 人
人
okay. Okay.
いるが人がいる
All right. Who's left out here? Show yourself. Oh,
焼き鳥
yakitori. Interesting. It's in kana, yakitori. Okay.
木がないね。
木がないね. Oh, sad. Alright, tree. But not there? How do we not there it? No tree. Okay.
な
No.
いがね木がないね
Ika nai ne. Okay. No cars there. Oh, they're using negation now. I see. I see.
車がない
Okay. I guess we can do kuruma. Kuruma
車
and then nai not exist.
ないが車がない
Kuruma ga nai. Toire ga nai. Oh, sad face. Okay. Now we can use our dictionary.
ない
Toire.
トイレがトイレがない
Toire ga nai.
鳥がいるよ。
Tori ga iru yo. Okay.
Tori.
Tori.
いるがよ
Tori ga iru yo. Ooh. What's happening here?
卵があるね
Tamago. Tamago ga aru ne. Yeah, tamago. Wait. How can I... It's an egg. Aren't those eggs? Let me click on... Alright, we can do it this way.
卵
Tamago.
あるがね卵があるね
Tamago ga aru ne.
鳥がいないね。
鳥がいないね. Oh.
鳥
How do I... How do I illustrate? Like maybe iru?
いが
And then nai. A conjugation. Oh.
ない 鳥がいないね
いないね. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
エレベーターがない
階段があるよ。
階段があるよ. That is most definitely a 階段.
階段あるがよ階段があるよ
階段があるよ. Wait. Elevator.
エレベーター
Elevator. ないがない.
ないがエレベーターがない、
はい.え? 駐車場ではない. Oh, someone's getting a ticket? Maybe not.
駐車場ではないよ。
ではないよ. 駐車場. Guess we can just.
駐車場
駐車場ではないよ. How do we do this? Just take ない
ないではよ
では ask
駐車
for.
場ではないよ
Interesting. Picked out the dewa. No separation of formal and informal context yet. Hmm.
ないでは駐車場ではない
ではない. Okay.
いないいないば
いないいないいないいないいないあ So not exist, not exist. Emphasis? I don't.
Nai. Nai.
And then we have iru. Or we can do inai.
Inai.
And inai.
Inai.
Ooh, oh. Okay.
Inai nai ba.
Nai nai ba. Cute? What do you
電
guys want?
車ないね。
Nai ne. Densha nai ne. We got densha, right? No, we don't have densha. Okay. Okay, that works.
電車。ないね。電車ないね。
Densha nai ne. All right. Who's still like avoiding me? Oh. Iki. Oh. Oh, this might be oh.
駅。
Interesting.
いない。
Intriguing. Oh, no attendant.
が。
Station attendant. What is this? Wait. Oh, I can't get it yet because there's no. Oh, okay. All right. I don't have this character yet. We got a new kanji. Okay. Ticket to ticket to Uriba? Get ticket. How do we ooh, okay. Alright, sure. Oh, there's Densha.
電車。
Oh, that's an interesting looking train.
電車乗り場です。
Densha Noriba desu. Okay. A Densha
電
right there.
車。
And we have Noriba.
乗り場。
How the heck do you do des? Now we're doing formal. Let's use
です。
that. This. The heck? Oh, wait. Come on.
ば。
Let me. Okay, fine.
乗り場。乗り場。電車乗り場です。
Densha Noriba desu. Okay, so we suddenly shift to. We suddenly shift to formal. So now we shift to formal. トイレがありますね。Can we do like Aru into this?
あります。
Okay, I see.
トイレが。トイレがあります。
So you can see the relationship between the predicates. P family. Family. 動物園. Okay, so we have family zoo right there. And then family.
ファミリー
Family 動物園. Okay.
チケット売り場です。
Wait. Ticket. I can't ticket. Oh, what the? I can't. Okay. It's fine. Okay. Okay.
トナ
Otona. Can I Otona you? Are you not an Otona? Okay. Hold up. How do I end? Oh my. Oh wait. God, nailed it. Otona. And this.
です
Okay. Kodomo. Wait, that's not Kodomo. Is that Kodomo? Uh-oh. Send help. Whoops. Dang you. Okay.
です
N. Oh, I don't know it yet. That doesn't... I think that looks like Kodomo. Okay. What else we got? Kumayama? Kumasan?
Kuma.
No pronunciation yet, okay. Zo, yeah, elephants. Zo no kazoku. Zo no kazoku ga imasu. This.
ゾ
Zo. I can't. Kazuto. Kazoku. 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 Can't do that. Oh. Wait.
ウのいますが
Oh, no. Okay. No stuff.
象の家族です。
ゾウの家族です。ね?
ゾ
家族、家族。
ウ家族の
Yeah, so this definitely assumes that you know Kana,
です
at
ゾ
least
ウ
in
の
my
家族
opinion.
です
Knowing Kana definitely, or knowing Kana kind of makes this thing manageable. Might be a slight different experience for others. Kyo kame wa imasen. Okay. How do you illustrate today? The heck?
カメ
Kame. Okay. Oh, I can't do that? Oh, okay. How? Do I have dialogue? I don't have dialogue. Okay. Toilet.
トイレ
Arimasen? No. But we can use arimasu.
ありは
Toilet wa arimasen. How the heck do you arimasen things? Maybe what? Alright, Dion. Okay, we're doing Dion.
ライオン
Dion.
ライオンがいます。
Dion ga arimasu. Ga arimasu.
ライオン
Iru?
います。
がライオンがいます
Okay. Are those penguins? Penguins. How do you do? Penguin. Yo. Wait. Penguin. Show. Penguins. Yeah, penguins. I forgot how Heckin' Benedict Cumberbatch said it. Penguins or in that. Okay, so penguin show ne no iriguchi iriguchi ga arimasu. Okay.
ショー
Oh, penguin show. Oh, I thought it was one thing. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, penguin. Okay. Penguin show. Okay.
入り口の
Iriguchi arimasu. Aru. I can't do existence without.
ありますが
Okay. And then yes.
ペンギンショーの入り口があります
Penguin show no iriguchi ga arimasu. Whoa. Okay. Restaurant. Oh yeah. Restaurant ga arimasu. Okay. Let's go grab our restaurant here.
レストラン
Restaurant and aru. Where me aru?
ありますが
Okay.
レストランがあります
Kirin. Wait. Kirin? Kirin ga imasu. Wow. Oh.
キリン
います。
がキリンがいます
キリンの子供がいるね。
Kirin no kodomo ga iru ne. Oh, there's where I can get kodomo. But how do I do
キ
this?
リン
Kirin? Can I do like kodomo? I can't kodomo anything. Can I kodomo you? Oh no, wait, hold up.
子供の
Kodomo. And then we can iru this. Iru desu.
いるがねキリンの子供がいるね
Kirin no kodomo ga iru ne. Neat. So now we've covered formal. Formal. So we did casual negation, formal negation, or like formal negation, and then now we do like formal traditional, or we did like traditional negation, and then formal. How do I... This part is kind of weird. How do I express today? Where would I ever get the unit for today? Oh, oh. I'm like completely blind to English right now. I'm like, where do I get today? It's on the sign. Jeez. Oh boy. But
いは
how do I get masen? Oh, maybe no?
ません。
いません。
I see. I see. I'm like, how do I illustrate today? Like, well, it's on the translation. So wait. So I can masen this. Masen this, what is the entry for masen? Just not? Okay. Fair enough.
ません。ありません。トイレはありません。
トイレはありません. Alright. So what do we got? Restaurant.
レストラン。
Okay. Oh,
チケッ
jeez.
ト売り場です。
Chiquetto. How do I chiquetto? Uriba this. We can do Uriba. Ne? No. Son of a bee sting? How do I... Oh wait, hold up. Let's think about this. How do I get a chiquetto? How do I figure out... Oh, maybe I just click on this. Yes.
売り場。
Uriba. Cells. That's stating kana. Uri is to sell, and then ba. And that makes sense. Uriba, place for... Yeah, fair enough.
チケット
Chiquetto.
です。チケット売り場です。
Chiquetto Uriba des. And then we can just... Whoop.
売り場。
チケット。チケット売り場。
These are getting more elaborate. Okay. Next one. Oh, okay. Oh, why is chapter 4 so tiny? Or commands. Oh, they actually describe. I just realized. Learn how to say basic words. Talk about more than one thing. Cool. Talk about what is there and not. And then it does the animate, inanimate. And then they also switched formal and casual. You know what? Let's do chapter 4. Yeah, let's do chapter 4 as well. Commands. In what way? Oh my gosh, they're animated now.
走らないで。
Ashiranaide. Do not run. Do not run, you little pipsqueak.
柱。ない。
How the heck do you do that? The act of running?
橋。
How the... Wait, how do you illustrate that? The child is the... Oh. Naide. Oh, okay, not to... Okay. That's fine. That makes sense. That's good enough. Do not enter, please. Irichinai? No. Iranai de kudasai. Right. Enter. Kudasai. Oh. Interesting. For want? That's fair enough.
ないで。
Yeah, please. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it might be Haida. No, no, no. Iranai. Iranai works. Oh, Haida kinda works though as well.
押して
Oshite. Ne? Oh, os. Push. Yeah.
押して押して
Oshite. To push. Osu. But in a command form. Oshite. Okay.
お水ください。
Oh, mizu kudasai. Oh. Where's do I? Can I just highlight the the river? You have water? Okay.
お水
Mizu kudasai. Please. I wanted to register with is. Okay. Kudasai.
くださいお水ください
Mizu kudasai.
食べて。
Tabete. Eat. What do you? Is that not a drink?
食べて
That kind of looks like a drink. Tabete. Okay. What the? Ooh. Interior.
椅子に座ってね。
椅子に座ってね。座ってね。Please sit down on the seat. In your seat. Your little heckin' pep.
椅子
And then 座って. Oh, the heck? Oh, wait. How the heck do you illustrate 座って eating cake? The table. Ah, there it is.
座ってね椅子に座ってね
Yeah. 椅子に座ってね. Yeah, heckin' pep child. Aw, it's such a small unit on commands. All right, that's pretty good. I thought maybe it's a short unit, but it's like a long, big area. So we got a pace. There are 4 chapters, right? I mean, we did 4 chapters. We have like so we do 4 chapters each day. That's 4 days. That'll sync us up with the peak day for Wanikani, the next peak day. Level up day, I think. We'll see. And these sessions aren't going to be as long, like 1 hour to 2 hours, less than 2 hours. That would put me at around 8 hours, right, total. Here we do Spanish, because we skipped Duolingo Spanish today, largely because I wanted to do the opening opinions section, which took about an hour and a half. And then we added another hour to this. Is there a timer in this game? Wait. Not particularly. Tonami. Okay. So what did I discover? I discovered 1 new kanji that I don't have actually in all across the source, and that was attendant. In attendant, eki. I don't have there's no read on it yet. Interesting. Oh, there you have it. The music is great. I really like the music. Like even the menu system. Wait, can we get to the menu system? The menu, this menu. I like great menu music. Wait, can we hear it? Please? Don't do this. Oh, it might actually be. Oh no, I think it's part of the background unit. So it might have been chapter 3 or something. Yeah, really great music. And there's like fade in and fade out. All right. Well, that's day 1. What can I glean from this? It's interesting how they went about it, because the way they circumvent things that you can't illustrate, right? You can't illustrate or demonstrate, you use with clues. So you're expecting to think like, oh, I'm English. You're like, or not, I'm English. I speak English. So you have to collect. You can click on like things, right? It's like, oh, hey, it is a bicycle in English, and then you hear someone say something, right? Like, oh, okay, so that must have something to do with the idea that it is a. So it still leverages the idea that you have English or you have other languages. I'm actually not sure what languages support, or if there are plans for future support for language. Actually, let me look at. It's only English, so it's only English as a point of reference. And that kind of makes sense, because scaling this as a one-person team, or maybe even having collaborators, can be tough. Localization, some people may relegate it to a company, but that's a forward investment. And I happened to have an anecdote of someone who actually went and did that initiative, and honestly, it kind of sucks, because if you're hiring a company to do the localization, it costs money. That's forward investment that actually gets really diminished return outside English. Maybe sometimes Spanish in terms of Japanese learning things. But you'll get the comment where someone's like, oh, can we have a French localization and stuff. And Shashinko, that dev, they're using their Discord to recruit people and collaborate on trying to proofread the localization for Shashinko. I mean, as a language thing, I suppose that's one area on repurposing what's here. I enjoy it. The music, whatever the music loop is, it's fantastic. I wonder who made it. Erik Andersen said it's contribution of family and friends. Like, even those people are speaking. So I'm actually kind of curious. Just listening to the people, the voice samples that they have, I wouldn't be surprised if Erik Andersen is either related and or have friends who are Japanese or Japanese related. It would be interesting if their family and friends, and Erik turns out to be someone who has relations with it, with Japanese culture and whatnot. Not too much is known, but I look forward to if he continues to add stuff. This is very modular. It's incredibly modular too. Modular to the point where you could kind of see, much like Wagotabi, it can be extended really quite well. Shoshinko is also modular. Most of these types of game designs tend to be a scene, and it can be scaled up, right? Slowly, provided there's enough support. And can't really emphasize that enough. Generally speaking, most people nowadays take things for granted, in my opinion, conservatively, and they expect an incredible amount of, how I say, content to ratio for their money, right? It's a natural, I guess it's possibly a natural normalization of generative content these days. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow, probably, hopefully tomorrow, and we'll squeeze in like another 4 chapters, something like that. Yeah, music's great. Voice acting is negotiable. I don't mind that you can hear that it's not quote unquote a professional studio recording. You can hear echoing and whatnot. I think it's quite cute. especially when they got kids involved to pronounce some of this stuff too. The gameplay loop does not change, so that could be an issue for some people. I could see there's no progression of a gameplay loop, and generally lots of learning material when it is viewed as a video game does have that type of evolution, so like the challenge aspect or the constant engagement aspect. So one major criticism when someone treats something as a game and whatnot is probably it's boring, it's repetitious, right? But I can definitely understand that that's not everyone's cup of tea. I mean, I'm someone who used Duolingo, so that's probably a thing. Especially the one, that really negative person, that was one of their major criticisms. In terms of, there was a criticism about how accessible this book is. I can kind of see some of it, sort of, what the person says about the order of priority, but I don't see an issue here. On the search engine, maybe some priority changes, like priority changes. It's very serviceable. All right, folks, that's a wrap for today. If you're gonna watch this later, arigatou gozaimasu, right? So until next time, you're more than welcome to drop by. If you have a few questions, feel free to drop your hot takes. Be ready for some discussion. I always like discussing while engaging in intellectual exploration. And until then, stay safe, right? Stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, right? Take care. Mata ne.